Hello everybody, Malakith here, and this is going to be a different video to usual. I've been promising for a very long time to show people the setup that I run and how I use all the various bits of software and stuff to do my videos. So that's what we're going to be doing, and then following that, in terms of the live stream, I'll be continuing to games, but I will probably separate that out into a different video. So I'm going to have to move away from the microphone to be able to get the whole place in shot on the camera, but after a quick pan around I'll come back to the mic and go through it bit by bit. So the system as a whole, right, we'll start with the boring bit, which is this box under the desk, which nobody cares about. If you want the specs of what's in the PC, then go look in the top right corner of my channel. There's nothing particularly interesting I can actually show you. It's just, you know, a computer. So, onto the desk itself. On the left we have my university electronics project with wires and bits everywhere. Not particularly interesting for YouTube, so I'll gloss over that. Headset, we have an Astro A40 with a track IR clip plugged on the top, which is the transmitter for the bit on top of the monitor, which you can see up there. If you've not seen track IR before, it's what I use in War Thunder to do the head motion thing. So when you're looking around in the plane, you know, as I turn my head with this bit, that moves and that picks up the movement, and you know, it corresponds to in-game. We then have part of the joysticks. This is the throttle control of a Cytec X52 Pro. You've got the main stick control over here. So more buttons you can shake a stick at, including some little safety flip up bit, which is more irritating but quite amusing at times. When you're basically trying to push the button and you just can't get at it because that stupid thing's fallen down. Okay, we next have probably my favourite purchase, which is a Logitech G13 sort of programmable keyboard thing. Just like I like the wrist rest, and I don't know, just the fact it's completely programmable as a little keyboard. You can set up various games for what you want. You've got different profiles which represent the different colours on the screen. I thoroughly recommend that to absolutely everyone. You then have the very old G15 keyboard. I think this is version 1. It probably needs a clean and actually replacing because it's ancient. I like it still because it's got the triple sets of programmable keys on the left. In terms of mouse, one of my most recent purchases, it's a MMO7 Cyborg. It's alright. I like the complete customizability. This slides in and out, this goes back and forwards, you can change the pinky rest. That bit I like. The bits I don't like are mostly software based actually. There's a lot of the buttons you can't program that you really should be able to. Like this one over here on the side. You can't do much with it, and in here this changes the profiles, but I would much rather it was actually just a button to do something with. I'm yet to find any use for this side-scrolling mouse wheel, because when you're holding it, look, it's, hello, my thumb's not that far back. I'm not going to sit like this to scroll. But, you know, never mind. You're never going to be perfect for everybody, are you? Next, you have the microphone. So this thing here is a pop filter so that all my P's don't end up, you know, screwing up the sound. So slide that out of the way. So you got a Samsung CO1U, which is the USB version. I kind of wish I hadn't gone for the USB version. It limits me a lot, which I'll come on to later, so I'll probably end up replacing that. This is a shock mount, so if I bash the desk, for example, it doesn't come through as bad as it could. So I could mount that on an arm, which I may well do in the future, but for now that can stay as it is. Over here we have the side screen, so this is where all of your chat goes. So you can see the chat box here. Normally this is just like a side window I have for, oh, you got the nice little box in a box in a box effect. Nice. But you know, that's just for me to monitor what's going on when I'm live streaming mostly. I don't tend to use it outside of live streaming except for things like Steam chats and stuff. Right hand side is where all the recording happens. So at the top here you got XSplit, down here you got Audacity, and over here you got Bandicam. I'll go through all of those once we hit the software portion of this, because I'll switch over to the main screen and you'll be able to see that, and TeamSpeak so I can see who's talking to me. and then of course the main screen where all the magic happens. I don't think there's anything else to point out really in terms of hardware. Modem, nice and boring, hiding under there. And over here you've just got desk space with a notepad and a whole load of crap. So I think that concludes the webcam part of this, so let's switch to the desktop. Let me get this out of the way. So in terms of recording software, we will start with the live stream stuff. Now we're going to have a box and a box effect going on here. So this is XSplit. So in here you have all the sources. So at the moment I've got it set to the screen region of the central screen. This one was the webcam. I could turn it on and off. We've got War Thunder, we've got SimCity. Those are the games I recently set up. Can control the microphone and the sound separately. All of these are scenes. If I, like for example, my away scene, if I click this, it pops up whatever I designed to be on that screen. So I don't make full use of that really, but you know, it's something I could do in the future. It gives me all sorts of information like how many viewers are watching, what my bitrate is, how many frames I've dropped. It's a finicky piece of software. It likes some things, it doesn't like other things. It's a bit weird. But that just goes straight off to Twitch. It sits on Twitch's servers and they deal with it. There's no sort of processing my end. One big problem with live streaming is okay, it sort of records the screen, but if you were to send that as raw data, that is huge amounts of data, so it has to compress it down to make it smaller so that you can actually transmit it over your internet connection, unless you've got an absolutely monstrous connection that very few people have. And that uses a lot of processing power. You'll see when I'm live streaming, a lot of my games suffer from little jitters every so often where the frame rate just seems to sort of stop. So that's where the CPU is basically maxing out because I'm compressing too much stuff at the same time. So that's the live stream stuff done. In terms of standard recordings, so all of my Napoleon Total War series, all of my Shogun series, Bandicam is what I use. It's similar to Fraps. You've probably heard of Fraps. I much prefer Bandicam. I found I could get higher resolutions at higher quality, so using running at full size 50 frames. Whereas with the same PC and setup on Fraps, I had to run at just below full size at 30 frames, and I was actually getting worse quality out of it. You can see some of my early Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai videos are done in Fraps, and later ones are done in Bandicam, so you can do a comparison for yourself if you really want to. It's the same price, same as DX Story, they're all about the same price. So you've got hotkeys for recording. You can overlay the FPS, which you should see if I had a window that would show it. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, and Audacity is a free bit of software, unlike the others which you have to pay for. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Twitch, there is a free version. You get limited features. It's kind of passable. But if you want to make money off of it, in their terms and conditions it says you should buy their premium license. So I went along with the legal side of it and bought their premium license and got all the extra features that came with that. Audacity on the other hand is completely free. If I click record, you should see it's just picking up my voice here. That's fine. When you're done, you click stop. I'll just be quiet for a second. So you can see all this sort of garbage here. This is background noise. So this is why this software is really, really useful. So I highlight that section, which is basically the fans from my PC. You might just be able to hear in the background. Effect, noise removal, get noise profile. So that's basically saying anything in this section is noise. You then highlight all of it. Go noise removal again, and instead this time just click OK. It'll pop up a little box and run through it, which it probably won't like doing at the moment because, oh no, it's already done it. It's just such a small clip that it's done. So you can see this line is now flat and all of that noise is now gone. So when you play this back, you won't hear those fans in the background anymore. And you can do that for, like, if I wanted to get rid of this spike, I could highlight just that section, you know, say the doorbell goes or something. I could sort of highlight that, go this is noise, and it would just remove the doorbell from anywhere else in the stream, in the video. So that's Audacity, which is a nice bit of free software. So once I've got all of these files, you know, you need to edit them together. So for that I use Adobe Premiere. It's not a cheap bit of software. I got it cheaper than usual because of student discount, but it is not a cheap bit of software at all. Now as you can, this number here is actually Bandicam telling me that at the moment I'm getting 2 frames a second on that video. So what that will do is in game when you're recording, this would turn red, which lets you know you're recording. It doesn't show up on the videos, that's why you've never seen it on any of my recordings. So it's kind of useful for telling when you're recording or not. But back to Adobe. So you drag and drop, this is just a timeline. We can have a look at the sound file. So you can see where all the noise is happening. In my case, I then drop the Audacity file in on the line below. So this one here is the game video and the game sound. And this one here is my voiceover. So, you know, you just line them up, edit out the bits you don't want, keep the bits you do want. You've got the various bits of the game. And once you're done, you can render them together. It turns it into a much smaller file. I normally save it as MP4, as that seems to work best with, let's see, what's it called? YouTube. YouTube seems to like MP4 files, so I render this down into an MP4 file, at which point you then have to upload it to YouTube. I'm not going to cover how you upload to YouTube because that's fairly apparent, really. So that is most of the software. This is the way you do it if you've only got a single PC. So if you were to take Chadman, for example, he has a multi-PC system. So he won't be using Audacity or Bandicam on his main PC like you can see here. What he will do is have those on a secondary PC. There's a capture card in it, and the first one, like the main gaming PC, sends a copy of its video and audio to the second one, and the second one deals with all the workload of processing that so you can save it. So ultimately that gives you better videos, but you have to have two PCs, you have to have a capture card. It's ultimately more expensive. So I think that's about it for everything I can think of to explain how my system works. If you have any specific questions, be sure to ask them in the YouTube comments when this goes up on YouTube. And I'm going to progress the live stream onto other things now.